So I've been without a ute for quite a while now, because this one is quite a long way off finished. And this one kind of sucks, but I still need a way to move stuff around. So I may have stolen one. A little bit. Maybe. Oh, come on. So this 1996 Land Cruiser belongs to my father-in-law, and he may or may not be aware that I'm borrowing it. They're away for the weekend, so I thought I could just, quickly just zip over, grab the ute, grab a couple of things, and scoot it on back before anybody kind of noticed it was missing. That is until, in my exuberance, I may have done this here. Because unfortunately, I didn't account for the fact that the tray in this old bushies truck is made from floorboards from a 1960s shearing shed, and they have the structural integrity of balsa wood. So here's my thinking. Let's give the old girl a quick makeover. We'll chuck a new tray in it. We'll give her a pretty up, give her a little bit of a scrub and shine, fix a couple of known issues, and then we'll scoot her back into position before they notice it's gone. And that way, even when he notices that the tray is different, he won't be mad about it. Now, I wasn't joking when I said that this thing was made from 1960s shearers floorboards. These are legitimately, I believe, are pulled out of a shearing shed to replace the old floor that got absolutely trashed. Because before my father-in-law had it, it belonged to my wife's grandfather, and he had it from new. It was originally his work truck. Once it retired, he bought it back off them, decided he wanted to keep it. It's been bolted down. It was just sitting there. He then proceeded to use it on his farm for mustering, pushing around cattle, and being a general menace across far north Queensland. Think Crocodile Dundee, but in real life. And basically that meant doing what was required to keep it running. And old floorboards from the shearer shed, they fit the bill. So interestingly enough, my exuberance may not have been the only reason for this piece of board to break. Guess we better address that too. So originally I wanted to try and save as many of these boards as I could, because obviously the history that goes with them, but given how rusty these bolts are and this frame falling to pieces, I can't get the bolts out without cutting the boards, and I can't cut the boards without ruining them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a nice section here and try and at least keep some usable pieces. We might be able to do something cool and nostalgic with it later. Okay, so we have a very bare tray now. I guess we better clean all this up. Great. Now, because this is all pretty well rotted out and more or less unsalvageable, this is so thin I can just bend it with my fingers. I'm going to cut it out, and I've got this piece of angle that I reckon will cut to the right size, and we'll just replace that with this, because that's going to be better than having nothing at all. And then I might have to do a couple of patches in the further back spaces as well. Get that in there. Okay, that's all welded in. Apparently the camera decided you didn't need to see my terrible welding, but I think that will hold just fine. Well, I figure while we've got the tray off, I may as well fix these other couple of rusty spots. At least give it some structural integrity. And we'll give it a quick undercoat and make it as pretty as we can. Because this tray's probably not going to come off again for another 20 years. There it is. Still not good, but it's better than it was. Let's go find some wood. Heading out to undisclosed hardware store to try and find something that we can use as a replacement for the boards we just tore out. Probably should have thought of that first. Why is every single board here bent? Or damaged? Like, look at this. Jesus. They all just, look. They're all just bent. Now we're opting to use Merbu decking boards because they're probably about as good and strong as we can get. And they look good. Okay, so our total tray length, 2270. If we do all our boards at 2270, should be pretty safe. 70 with the worst builder's pencil in the world. And the trick is here, you always put the bad end down this end because it's going to be covered by the end strap. Okay, so we've got our first board in. Sits nicely just off the edge here. Bolts line up pretty well. And we're nice and flush. So on this first one, we want to make sure that it's hard up against the edge because it's going to set the rest of them. Yeah, now we're starting to see the vision come together. Right, check it out. Still got a couple of little gappy issues. We had to put a little filler strip in here. We're not perfect, but we're a damn sight better than what we were. I'm pretty happy with that. Obviously we'll go through and try and get everything sitting a little bit nicer, but that's almost too flash. Now, because we're having a few spacing issues, I'm just using these little builder's wedges just to try and separate the gaps. They don't have to be perfect, but I do want them to be at least a little bit closer. Now, because half of these bolts are either stripped out or have been replaced and there's no longer holes, I'm just going to drill them out and put new bolts in. So you're just going to watch me do that like 300 times. So the tail lights in this look a little sad. So one of the things we can do real quick to make it look just a little bit better is we give them a re-dye. If you've got faded tail lights, one of the things we used to do is you've got these little lens dyes. So we've got an amber and a red. You used to be able to pick these up from like a super cheap or an Autobarn. And all you do is just give your lenses a little bit of a touch up in any of the spots that look like they're starting to fade. And it brings them right back around. As you can see, we are at the car wash. I am running very low on time. So we're going to give this thing a quick spray over, make it look as good as we can, and then try and sneak it back home. On the plus side though, tail lights look way better. I'm still undecided on the black, but it'll do for now. Alright, we're just going to give this tray a quick spray down and try and make sure we get rid of any of the oil and contaminants and leftover swarf or any of the stuff that shouldn't be on there. And because this is Merbu, it has this habit of bleeding, so we want to try and minimise that and washing it. Probably the best way to do that. And while we're here, we might as well give the old girl a really quick scrub. I don't think she's had one for probably 15 years. Just, you know, just a little bit. All right, we're going to give this a quick rinse off now, put all the soap off, and then I'm going to have to get moving because we are well and truly running out of time, daylight, and apparently car wash days. Well, there she is. I think it looks pretty damn good. So he can't be like incredibly mad about that. Still needs an oil, still needs a few things, but I think it is a distinct improvement on what was there before and is now infinitely more usable and also safe. Okay, and I'm going to get asked, so I might as well break it down real quick. How much did this cost? So the timber was about $220, give or take, because some of the pieces were just hideously bad, so we got them at a discount. Paint was about 20 bucks, and miscellaneous, say, another 20 bucks. So all in all, I think I spent about $263, give or take, on this, which I've got to oil it and do a few things, but for a quick bit of work on a weekend, came up pretty good. So it's definitely something you can do at home if you want. Now, obviously this thing's not finished, but it's not too bad. I think it's actually scrubbed up pretty well. So let's see about scooting home and getting it away before anybody notices it's missing. Well, shit. I think we're home early. Damn it. So we're home early. Pray for me. Oh, hey everyone. You're home early.